Creative nonfiction writing examples. Hello everyone, here's another session of Walking with Randy where I talk about writing, speaking, marriage, marketing, and so forth. Today we're talking about writing again, and the topic is creative nonfiction writing examples. A little while back I did some study in copywriting. Sort of the copywriting that you do for sales letters and things like that. One of the things that they advised us to do was to find a good sales letter and then copy it by hand. Well, I'm not asking you to copy things by hand, but some resources today that I came across. And so I'm going to give you 6 places to find creative nonfiction, creative writing examples. Creative nonfiction writing examples. Well, one of the places that I found was 100 major works of creative nonfiction. And you could find that at thoughtco.com. 100 major works of creative nonfiction at thoughtco.com. Here's another one. The title is very similar. These are all found on the internet. 108 nonfiction writing prompts at authority.pub. That's authority.pub. Now here's one from Colson Knowles. If you're not familiar with Colson Knowles, I'll give him a little plug. I studied some of his writing, read some of his books, and actually whenever I did my first book on marriage as an ebook, and it became a bestseller, I had read some of Tom Colson Knowles' stuff at that time, found it to be very helpful. And so this is at tckpublishing.com, tckpublishing.com/creative-nonfiction. tckpublishing.com/creative-nonfiction. And the article is, now evidently this is a guest article because it's written by Kaelyn Barron, Kaelyn Barron. And the title of the article was, What is Creative Nonfiction? ? Definitions, examples, and guidelines. What is creative nonfiction? Definitions, examples, and guidelines. Well, those are 3 of them. Here's another one. 25 creative writing examples to inspire you today. And that's on the blog at reedsy.com. That's Reedsy, REEDSY.com. And then there's a magazine you might be interested in. It is Creative Nonfiction Magazine. And you can find information about that at creativenonfiction.org. And now for the finale. Drum roll. Here it comes. Here's an example, I guess, of creative nonfiction writing. And as I mentioned yesterday, we're on our way, about a month away, to the launch of this new book, How to Write a Book in 28 Days or Less Without Stressing Yourself to Death, by yours truly. So that would be a good example of nonfiction writing if you wanted to look at that. When we talk about creative nonfiction writing, sometimes we can use narrative elements to illustrate the main points of what we're talking about. So in this book, I give some examples from my own life of stories, true stories from my own life that illustrate some of the things that are in the book. So the stories are narrative, so even though they're non-fiction stories, they're not fiction, but they are stories much like fiction stories. You also can borrow things from fiction when you're writing non-fiction to be good illustrations of what you're talking about. Well, anyway, there's the book. I want you to be keeping updated with us as we draw closer to the launch day for it. Well, this has been another session of Walking with Randy, and keep writing.